Welcome to Talk Theory. It's your host, Kiara Barnes, where I talk all things life, what makes us human, and what makes us superhuman. Sit back, relax, and join me for a chat. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Talk Theory. It is I, Kiara Barnes, your host. Thank you for coming back for another episode. It is so lovely to be with you all again, and I just wanted to keep you all updated on this SAG talk. As some of you know, unless you're a new listener, there's been quite the time with the entertainment industry with getting fair contracts, and the WGA was able to finalize theirs, and so they're off strike, and now we're sorting out the actors union, which is SAG, and so I believe they met with studios last week like 3 times, which is, I mean, it's good. It's good. But, you know, I know everyone is just probably, including myself, just itching to get back to work. And so we're hoping, I think today they're even meeting again, but we're really hoping to come to some kind of, decision. And that way we can all get back together and get back to work. I just want to say thanks to everyone looking out for us and, spreading the word, and it just having voices to come together on something means way more than you will ever know. And, it's really important. And, thank you if you were funding or are funding. There's a bunch of, donating sites that you can go to for just a lot of actors that need it and people in the industry that are really struggling because we're out of a job right now, so even giving like a little amount will go a long way, and it really does help a lot of folks that are in need during this time. So but I'll have to keep you guys posted, moving forward, but fingers crossed that I'll have some good news to share with everyone soon. Okay, today, I feel like my mic is loud, or maybe it's my headphones. Hold on, let me see if I can adjust this situation. Is it working? Oh yeah, here we go. All right, today we are delving into a topic that I would say resonates with all of us, and that is confidence. We're going to talk about self-assurance, strategies for building and maintaining confidence, and how it can really just have an impact on various aspects of our lives. So get comfy and let's have a chat, shall we? To begin, let's talk about what confidence is. You know how I am, y'all. I love to get to the heart of things. I love my definitions. So for me, confidence is, it's more than just like a feeling. It's really a deep-rooted belief in your own abilities and your worth. And I think that confidence really just empowers you, to step outside your comfort zone. It empowers you to even embrace challenges and pursue your goals with just this sense of determination. Because with confidence, you don't really look through like a lens of fear, right? But a lens of excitement and fun, because your perspective is different, and you know your abilities, and you're welcoming new experiences because you know that it will only add to add to you rather than take away. And honestly, looking at life this way is a major game changer for many reasons, which we will talk about. And I think that often self-esteem forms the foundation of confidence. Self-esteem and even self-assurance is something, as even in the name, right? It's something that is fueled from the self, and it has to come from within. And although it does come from the self, it's also worth mentioning that both of these things can be influenced from outside sources. Like where you grew up, the family you have, the friends or company that you keep, where you work, all these things. And I would even also say like how you were even treated when you were in school or something like that, and when you were younger. Many factors, especially I have to say in our formative years. I feel like our formative years definitely have the potential to influence how we see ourselves, how we conduct ourselves going into our adulthood. And so how am I going to like for me, if you grow up, right? If you grew up and you were bullied for a long time, or if your family made you feel maybe like not smart enough, or never felt like your voice was heard, or you felt like you were always quieted, whatever it may be, there's a high chance when you got into your adult years that you carried that with you. We're like sponges as kids, and we take on a ton of information, and that starts to define us and become who we are, which makes sense why we change so much through our lives. Like, I'm nothing like how I was in, I don't know, middle school or high school or even my early years of college, because the further I got out of that, the more that I was spending time alone and getting to know myself and realized, oh, like, that's not really me. This is more me. Oh, I like this. Like, even coming down to my favorite color, like for the years, I used to be like, oh, blue's my favorite color. And then I started noticing that I just had a ton of forest green, jacket, forest green, phone cover, forest green. And I was like, oh, I actually like forest green because it makes me feel grounded and calm. And I guess forest green's probably it's silly, but it's true. And I don't think that it's really abnormal for any of us to experience this, because I think it's something we've all gone through or experienced. And I don't think anyone on this earth has not been bullied or judged or teased or made to feel bad about something. It's just not really possible. Humans, we are flawed by nature, and we don't always say the right things, nor do the right things. And I think that can have a real impact on ourselves and obviously the people around us. But on the same breath, it can also, on the flip side, like I don't know if I've definitely had situations like this, but seeing kids who you grew up with, right, who maybe had a lot of positive self-talk, like they were maybe a little too much, but it's, besides the point, grew up and you might have thought, wow, like, okay, this person is really full of themselves, or they have an interesting sense of reality. And then you see some of these kids as adults now, and they're in pretty good like positions, doing well. Not to say that these people are perfect, because like we said, no one is perfect. And it doesn't matter if you got all the money in the world, the best job, the perfect family. Everyone has something going on behind closed doors. But it is interesting to notice the difference in confidence with these people and how they were able to get into rooms and forge just a way through with little or no doubt, or worry, because they grew up expecting and accepting the fact that they could do anything. And even if it didn't work out, they could find another way in, like not really embarrassed or affected by a setback because they just have that ingrained in them, which I find to be very interesting, because these are the same people that don't look for validation as much on who they are or what they want to do. And they've already received enough of that when they were younger that they're more strong willed in who they are as a person later on. Again, this is kind of just like a, you know, glazed over. I know that I'm sure some people grew up in houses where it's like, oh, I got told this, and that, and I still feel like whatever. But for the most part, like identifying with what's a risk and what scares you when you're getting more positive self-talk is definitely a thing. And this is why that leads me to talk about inner dialogue and even our outer dialogue. Both of these things play a significant role in shaping our confidence. And I think we've all heard the experiment with the plants, right? Where you have a plant listen to really intense negative rock music for a certain amount of days. Then you have another plant listening to classical soothing music for a few days. They're both getting the same amount of sunlight, same amount of water. The only difference was in music. And what they found is that the rock plant with the negative rock music would be really limp, would be really frail, and the plant with the soothing classical music would be sprightly and vibrant. And it was really an interesting experiment on one frequency, sound waves, and energy in general, but how all those things can directly impact us on a physical level, which makes sense, right? Like we've all turned on that feel-good music that makes you smile bright and sing all the words and loud and dance. Then we've turned on that sad music to help us process our emotions, detox, but it does make you feel low. Like even the other day, and don't come at me, okay? Don't come at me, but I love Christmas music. I've always loved it. And I'm like, you know what? I threw on a sweater today. I just want a little boost of serotonin. So I turned on classical Christmas music on good old Spotify and boom, baby, like I'm listening to all this music. I'm going back to good memories. And, I was getting, totally dogged on by my family. They were like, are you really listening to to music right now? And I'm like, Christmas music right now? I'm like, yeah, what's wrong with that? They're like, really, dude, it's October. Like, can we not? But you know what? It made my day. So this is for the people that love Christmas music. Just play it. Just play it. Have no shame. Anyway, it's important to mind our words. And for me, I had to get better. The big thing for me back in the day was self-deprecating jokes. Even in jest, your words do have power, okay? If you're calling yourself stupid or dumb or a loser, your brain and body digest that and create stories to justify those reasonings as fact. Literally, your mind will start mapping out why that's true. By nature, we are biologically designed to always be processing and obtaining information. So, now this self-talk that you're doing becomes beliefs, and that has a direct impact on our perception of ourselves. And then that can ultimately influence what we think, what we even do, and it can also weaken our abilities, to the things that we're actually good at. So a good way to get this in check is to do a lot of remapping, a lot of reworking. It takes a little policing, but once you do it enough, you cut it all out together. And I'm living proof of this. I used to always make jokes at my expense or say negative things about myself, not really thinking it really meant anything. But it did actually, which I also think stems from the idea of not wanting to maybe be seen or trying to make yourself small as possible in order to not stir anyone's pot. But the truth is, it's a bunch of BS because, newsflash, the fact that you're alive, you are quite literally already taking up space. You know, your body physically is taking up space. So there's no point in trying to make yourself small, right? Like, you can't make yourself invisible. So you might as well just exist and be yourself and be here because you're already doing it anyway, just physically. And so, there's no point of trying to make yourself small. Like, you can't shrink yourself, Um, and just don't worry about anyone else. Like, they're also just here. No one has it figured out. We're all just doing our best, and that's it. But, to circle back, if I caught myself even in jest saying, "Oh, I'm so stupid," I immediately say out loud, "No, I'm not. I'm really smart." And, it may seem a little silly doing that. And you might get a few eyes being like, huh? But you know what's more silly? Being your own bully. That's actually really, really silly. So let's not do that. Truly, truly, truly recognizing and embracing your strengths is a powerful confidence booster. I mean, everyone is good at something. Everyone has unique qualities to them that are specific to them, that make who they are a true asset to not just themselves, but people around them. You could be like a great cook, a movie buff. You could be great at painting, knowledgeable on any given subject, good singer, actor, good at math, good at memorizing, good at communicating, great at listening. It doesn't have to be these big, grandiose things, but it could be a few small things that really do help, and you can have these interesting, cool things about you that are specific to you that no one else has. But it's the way that you do it and it's the way that you implement it that makes it so effective. And you can really use these things to leverage and navigate challenges or even pursue passions. And I think that the more introspection you do, you'll find, oh, whoa, I actually have a lot of cool abilities. For example, one of mine is how sensitive I am. I have a lot of feelings, guys, and emotions. And it used to be something used against me when I was younger. Like, people be like, oh, you cry too much. You're a crybaby, or you're too emotional. You care too much. You're so dramatic, blah, blah, blah. But guess what? Now I act for a living, and it's actually my biggest strength. And I utilize it a lot to connect with my characters and really feel them and feel for them. To me, as an actor, I am a vessel for the story, and it's really, really important that I am connected as possible to this character. Not only because it makes it easier to play, but out of respect for the writer and everyone showing up to work with me, it's really important that I am giving my all and my best, that day and through the entirety of shooting. And ultimately for the viewers, right? For you folks watching the end result, my biggest intention when it comes to creating with my work is that you are impacted in a way that allows healing and introspection and or conversation. So for me to show up only half invested in the work and my character, it's just not an option for me. And does it take a lot more time and effort to do this? Yes. Absolutely, love. Absolutely. Breaking down the script, just breaking it down just to get history of a character and all the stuff in between, takes not just hours, not just days, but really like it's so much invested in research and work and understanding of what the story is conveying, who this character is, who are the surrounding characters, what's going on. We're so complex as humans. There's so much about us where it's like, why do we do the things that we do? and to do the best that I can to perceive, it takes a lot of time because I want to connect so deeply to it that you are able to connect to it. And that's really what I love, like getting to understand one another, a lot better and connect with one another through actual love and a lot of acceptance, even through the bad, the good, and even the ugly. Okay. So, yeah, you really never know never know that what you've been told was a weakness or a burden could actually be your biggest blessing. In turn, that's going to help with any possible imposter syndrome. What's imposter syndrome? For me, it's basically being put, how I'm defining it is you get put in a position that you're definitely qualified and or ready for, and then you feel the absolute opposite, right? You feel like you're a complete fraud. And I've felt this before, for sure. I think when I first got on TV, when I was doing the soaps from the beginning, because I didn't have like any credits, and all of a sudden I was just boom, like on this TV show, and I was a series regular, and I was like, oh, okay, we're doing this. First off, it was a ton of work. Y'all don't even want to know the kind of work that soap actors have to. I mean, it's no freaking joke. When I got into primetime, I was like, oh, Lord, like, sweet molasses. I'm on vacation. Okay. Soaps be shooting, I think an easy day is like maybe 3 or 4 episodes in one day. Like, primetime, if you're doing a fast prime time like the Fox show I was on, we would take, I think, and which is fast, by the way, I think like maybe a week or 2 weeks for an episode. And then like if you're really getting spoiled on like a premium streaming, like HBO or something like that, sometimes, girl, you could be spending like 2 to 3 months on one episode. And that is just like, I can't, oh my gosh. Like, yes. So let me reel it back in. I get so like, wow, about this. But all to say that it was no joke, and it did have me thinking, like, can I really handle this? And weirdly enough, it was like after my first couple of weeks that I was there that it started to show up for me. And I just I was like, okay, you know what? No, we're not doing this. So I was like, I'm going to get up on my studies and I'm going to continue going to class, go to different classes. I'm going to read material. I'm going to watch other performances for me. And then I'm going to go to work and implement what I've been learning and practice here and do what I need to do. And also, I learned by just doing, that's another way to to like beat this whole imposter syndrome. I'm doing everything I can to make sure that I'm showing up, and there's a reason why I'm here, and reminding myself there's a reason why I was chosen to do this. So it's up to me to make the most of it and be present. And that's really all you can do. Even if you want, like, make a list of what you do and what you know and what you're willing to learn to continue to grow. Because again, we learn through experience. You can prep as much as you want, but lived in experience is just that, lived in. So take it as is. Another quick thing to be mindful of is your body language. Okay. Just take notice of how you carry yourself day to day. Are you closing in on yourself, or are you upright and open? It really wasn't until I started getting back into ballet that I noticed how much I was hiding. Like, I really had to work on my posture. And even now, I catch myself all the time, and I have to straighten up and ground myself, feel my feet on the ground, and kind of root up that way. And you'd be surprised, what body language even conveys. It speaks volumes, but it can also influence your body to feel a particular way just by how you are positioning yourself. And if you haven't heard about it, like the whole classic superhero pose, right, where they said, oh, if you for 60 seconds, if you hold yourself in a superhero pose, your brain starts to process that stance with confidence and endorphins, because growing up, we've seen that pose done by confident superheroes a lot. Like as soon as I even say superhero pose, you should have an image of what that looks like. And so logically, the brain tells the body, and we get this boost. And it's really wild how powerful the mind and body are, especially when we use the both of them for our benefit. And it will definitely have an effect on how people perceive you, not only just yourself, but other people around you. And I'll say this as well, like, just because you are confident doesn't mean that now you will never experience a setback again, or a moment of feeling low. But the having confidence part is what will give you a lot more power in how you respond to these setbacks. And when your mindset is based in a space of resilience, you can take the setback for what it is. It sucks, it's not cute, but it's also just a moment. It doesn't actually hold so much power. And as my old colleague, he would tell me before, because we would talk a lot, in between work, and just when you're acting and you're trying to get that next job and do that next thing, whatever it is, and there's a lot of rejection in my industry. Surprise. There's a lot that you have to just be like okay with, and he would just say to me, hey, it's just for now, not forever. And I love that. Like, it's such a good reminder, because because something didn't work out doesn't mean it's the end of of your possibilities. It's the end of, that's it for you. And these little setbacks sometimes take you off track to actually get you back on track towards where you really want to go. And honestly, every little thing that didn't work out in my favor at that given point in time, although it did suck in the moment, it's always made sense later why that had to happen. And it has always worked out for my benefit in the end. Always. So it's really good to recognize that, hey, this is just for now, not forever. You're going to get yourself back up. You're going to get into a space where you can breathe, rearrange your thoughts, and that's going to help you recalibrate faster. But that's what confidence does. It's not that you just ice out your feelings, but confidence just helps you keep in mind and keep space that, one, just allow yourself to feel through it. It's okay to be disappointed about something not going your way. That's normal. You should feel that. Don't push that feeling down. Just be like, oh, it's all good, and happy days, because your body is going to know that you're lying. So detox it out, cry it out, whatever you got to do. Go on a walk after, process, and get back on the horse. Even if it takes a few days or a few weeks, like, you have to honor your feelings, but also allow yourself to release it, right? Because you know that you are more than capable to receive more and receive better. And you always have anyway, Even when something didn't work out, later on something really worked out. So with accepting these setbacks more and more and not making such a big deal out of them, you start finding comfort in going out of your comfort zone. You become a little less attached to things. You're able to push more of your boundaries, take calculated risks, embrace new experiences, because it means that you get to know yourself better and become a better version of yourself. You learn so much about yourself when you put yourself out there. I'm saying yourself a lot. But yeah, when you go for it, because like I said before, we only learn if we do. So ultimately, confidence doesn't just affect your individual journey, right? It radiates through every aspect of your life. It's contagious not only with your friends and family, but it's a ripple effect on your relationships, your career, your future career prospects, and overall has a pretty positive impact on your well-being, you know? And you're allowing the door of possibilities to be open and for you to be at the receiving end of it when you really just practice these things, which is a beautiful thing to experience and feel. So, as we come to a close, just remember that confidence is not a fixed trait. It's a skill that you can cultivate and nurture. It's not an overnight thing, that's for sure. And it takes time and repetition. Really, that's it. But more and more, it really won't feel like homework and it won't feel as bizarre or awkward or uncomfortable. You know, taking care of yourself will actually be something that you love to do and you look forward to doing. So yeah, this is the theory of the week. Confidence isn't just a feeling, but it's the key to unlocking your truest potential. Period. All right, folks, thanks for listening and joining me today on Talk Theory. I really loved having you all here with me. I liked this episode. It was cute. It was fun. And I hope that it gives you a boost for your week. As always, share this with a friend or a colleague, a family member, maybe someone you know that you're like, hey boo, you want to get your confidence on? Listen to this episode. Whatever, whoever you are, it always helps when you guys share these episodes, and it means a lot. And I love hearing from you guys, and I love hearing your feedback. If you have any suggestions of episodes, I was doing that a while back, and I haven't done that in a while. Anything you want me to talk about, I got you. Just, DM me. I think even on Spotify, if you go on Spotify, they have like these Q&As of like, what did you think of the episode? You can like suggest something if you want. As always, thank you for listening, and I shall see you next week. Okay, love you. Bye.